Where my girls at? Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's something serious. Where my girls at? We link up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right.
It's going down. It's going down. That's what we always come in on. It's going down. It's going down. I'm so excited to be with you. My name is Gloria, and we are here at We Got Issues at 9:10 a.m. The Superstation, WFDF out of Detroit. Oh, my goodness. You're here with the force of friendship, and we're bringing in the force. We are bringing in the force. Oh, we're missing one. We're missing one today. We're missing our girl, Crisette, Ellis. Why? Why? Well, I'm telling you, it's a fabulous reason why we're missing her today. 33 years married today. 33-year anniversary. Shut up. Yes, Jalen. Put on the applause. Put on the applause. 33 years, you guys. Wow. You know, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Today, we're talking about pivot. Pivot for success. And we're going to get more into that. But really, you guys, seriously, the weather in Baltimore has been fabulous. The conversation has been fabulous. We want to say to all of you that are tuning in, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Whether you're in Detroit, whether you're in Alabama, whether you're in California, whether in the UK, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in China, we don't know where you're calling in from. Internationally, we're glad that you tuned in to We Got Issues. Our baseline is to show you the value of friendship and how amazing it can be for you. That we acknowledge the fact that we all got issues to talk about. So we're here to have talk radio. Talk radio. Now we're trying to increase our controversy, and that is not my particular lane. However, I'm up for an argument. I just don't know how to have one. I'm not have one yet, but I'm gonna work on it. But seriously, you guys, we're glad that you tipped in with us. We're great to have you here with our tribe. And we've got a special guest with us today, and I'm going to get to her in a minute, but I'm going to head on over down to North Carolina with the hat. Go ahead, Sabrina, with the hat on. For those of you who can't see her, she's got a fabulous hat. She's known for her hats, and here she is today. Hey, Sabrina, how you doing?
Great, Gloria. Oh, my goodness. Happy Friday, girlfriends. Happy Friday, Crisette and Chuck. Happy 33rd. That's a big round number, baby. 33 leading by example. Gloria had an anniversary this week. Sabrina had an anniversary last week, and now it's Crisette and Chuck's time. And so happy anniversary to them. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. We're excited to be here. I'm excited that we have your sister on with us today, Gloria. Oh my goodness. Friendship is essential to the soul. The girlfriends, we are celebrating over 30 plus years of friendship. We believe we know how to do girlfriends well. We are the girlfriend experts. And so we're happy to share with you our Friday. You add so much value to our lives. Our tribe calling in from the East Coast, the West Coast. Somebody the other day said they were calling in from Switzerland. And so we have callers from all over, listeners from all over. I know that I had some family members tune in yesterday for the very first time. So we're excited. Caterina, how are you out on the West Coast?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. This week has been hot, hot, hot. We did have a cool off, but it's burning up hot. I was talking to my assistant, and they got like monsoon, like massive electrical storm going on, and 100+ degrees. So it's hot over here, and California, we are all up in this election.
Yeah,
right. Give us an update,
now,
Caterina. Give us an update.
I gotta check in with the update because I haven't done a lot, but I did just get a pop-up and said Gavin Newsom was looking pretty good. But he was taking it for granted early on. And so there was some heat, they've been bringing in a lot of folks. I don't think somebody can correct me. I don't think the president came because he has been very occupied. But the vice president was here and several senators and, a lot of folks have been out because it could, don't take it for granted. I know my ballot is in, but that's deep. And then today, we talk about yesterday was such a hot show. There's so much to be in prayer about. But today was one of the days that, I was praying with a girlfriend who got a little bit of a scare. And it was a blessing when she walks out of the doctor and they say, you are healed. It's just a blessing. Wow. She was concerned about some things that were taking place. And so in the midst of so much that's taken place, that was really made my day when we could get a praise report from a girlfriend.
Good news. Good news is always good news. Good news is always good
news.
We're so grateful. Yes.
Grateful. So,
yeah,
Gloria,
that's awesome.
That's awesome. Exciting.
It is exciting.
Lean in with Amy.
Yeah, it's exciting to be here. It's exciting to be here. You guys, seriously, it brings me so much joy to talk about so many topics. But I want you to bring to the stage my sister, Amy Hilliard. Here she comes to the stage. We're so excited to have her with us. And we got issues. We got issues right now because she's not. Are you there, Amy?
It just froze. So.
Okay, well, she's here. We can hear her on the radio. That's awesome, you guys. And she'll be joining us. But you guys, seriously, some of you know that she was just over here with me. She lives in Chicago. She was visiting with me. It hasn't even just been a full week, maybe, that she went home. And we had a great sister time. Ken was out of the country. There she is, looking beautiful and ravishing in yellow. So exciting, so exciting. But if you know me and you know Amy, she went to Howard. I went to Howard. She's been a big role model for me in so many ways. And I love her as a sister, but today she's coming on as a sister for real, a different kind of sister, one of the girlfriend kind of sisters. She's got a brand new book out, you guys, Pivot for Success. I'm very excited. You can get it on Amazon. She'll tell you a lot more about it. Hone your vision. Shift your energy. Shift your energy and then make your move. Now, here's the thing. This topic is so hot that we talked a little bit about it earlier this week. We talked about how to, if you're stuck, don't get stuck. A part of being unstuck, of course, is to make a pivot. So let me just tell you a little bit about Amy. Because when I tell you this chick is super bad all day long. When you talk about super bad all day long, I must have had this in my mind the first time I saw her. Known as a reinvention specialist, Amy Hilliard is an award-winning serial entrepreneur, former senior corporate executive, speaker, and author, a native of Detroit, and is an honors graduate of both Howard University and Harvard Business School, both with honors. Both. We were talking about this the other day. When she got a scholarship, my parents said, if you could just get in college, Gloria, we would be super excited. Super excited. You could just get in there. Okay. The Hilliard Group, her strategic marketing consultant firm, has worked with Fortune 500 clients, Nelson, IBM, Aetna, Pandora Jewelry, BTE Networks, American Express, HBO, The Gap, PepsiCo for over 25 years. In 2001, she founded the Comfort Cake Company, makers of a pound cake. It feels so good. It feels like a hug. And you guys, you've heard me talk about it. You've seen me talk about it in Thanksgiving. In fact, you guys, I don't know about you guys, but we're getting ready for Thanksgiving. And so the text messages are going around, asking the cousins, asking the sisters, asking everybody, did you get vaccinated? Did you get vaccinated? Did you get vaccinated? It's starting to come. Some people are going to have to pivot. Listen to this, you guys. Formerly president of Fashion Fair Cosmetics, the legacy cosmetic company for women of color. Amy was a senior retail and marketing and acquisitions and advertising experience at Bloomingdale's, Gillette, Pillsbury, Burrell Communications, and L'Oreal. Her innovations built one of Gillette's brands into a $100 million business, documented in a case study at University of Virginia's Darden Business School. Guys, I always ask my guests to just brag about themselves because her brand new book that you're going to see has been endorsed by Sheryl Sandberg, COO of Facebook, Dr. Wayne Frederick, who's president of Howard University, Debbie Allen, Tom Burrell, Starbucks chairwoman and co-CEO of Ariel Investments, Melanie Hobson. I mean, it's got the who's who, Felicia Rashad, and many others. BE2, Lewis Carr. So, and, okay, write this down. And she got a blog. Her blog is Sizzling After 60. Oh my goodness. Sizzling. Thriving in every stage of your life. And so we're so excited, Amy, to have you on here. She's hailing out of Chicago, passionate about giving back to her community, health, and wellness. So you guys, I'm so excited that I have a chance to introduce you to Amy. And Amy, just tell us a little bit about your background and how it led to this incredible book that is hot off the press. The fact that you wrote one is another conversation, but tell us a little bit about that if you can.
Well, thank you so much, first of all, for having me. I have been enjoying the show. We've got issues. I'm so proud of you ladies to get this show on. It has just been a joy to hear you, to see you, and to I compliment you and congratulate you so much for doing this. You know, the book and just getting Pivot for Success done has been a journey. I've been following there are 10 pivot points in the book about how to pivot, and I've been following them myself for 25 years. I wrote them in my first guidebook. It was a 28-page guidebook called Tap Into Your Juice, How to Find Your Gifts, Lose Your Fears, and Live Your Dreams. And I am so, so honored that when I wrote that book 15 years ago, that Michelle Obama endorsed it. And when I wrote Pivot for Success, nice. And when I was going to write Pivot for Success, I reached out to her because I had seen her, you know, as in my work as a trust for Howard University. I saw Michelle at an event, and I told her I was going to write a big book. And she said, Amy, you can keep that endorsement for life. So the book also has the support of forever First Lady Michelle Obama. And so, yes, our forever First Lady. Can you tell me how excited I am? Okay, anybody who has that, you know, can fuel you to do something with what God has gifted you to do. And so, you know, it was a situation where I knew I had to get this story out because I would give speeches about tap into your juice and tell stories about what each of the 10 pivot points meant. And all these stories were in me, but you know, they couldn't be in a 28-page little book. So I had to write them down and I had to tell them about it. And that's how the book Pivot for Success came about. That's how it came about.
Nice. And how long did it take you to write the book? How long did it take for you to write the book? Because I know that we have listeners on here that feel that they have a book inside of them as well. And they have to pivot in order to get that book out of them. But a lot of people, you guys, a lot of people have books inside of them, but they don't go all the way to fruition. So what about the book inside the book? What did you use inside the book of Pivot to get yourself to a place where you authored a book?
Well, you know, what I say in the book and what you said about the book in terms the strategy for it, the 3 strategic points of hone your vision, shift your energy, and make your move apply to me as well. I had to do all 3 things. I had to sit myself down and say, okay, you know, when I got the book deal, then that was God totally, because I've been trying to get a book deal for years.
Wow.
And a friend of mine who we were sitting there doing a panel discussion, and we had just met, and you know how girls do, we talk about our shoes, right? I was like, oh, I like your shoes. She was like, oh, I like your shoes. And we became friends over 10 years ago. And she happened to be a writer. She knew an editor of Wiley Publishing. And she said, after all the George Floyd stuff had happened, she said, you know, Amy, I got to do something and I don't know what to do, but I have this one editor that I think I can reach out to. Do your, you know, proposal over again for the upteenth time. And I did it, and she sent it to me. She sent it to her. And within 2 weeks, I had a book deal. Wow. Now, when you get a book deal, Yeah, within 2 weeks, the woman said, this is what we need to be talking about. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, God, because that was all him, right? I'm a woman of faith totally. So when you get a book deal, they put you on a timetable. And so because I'm an entrepreneur, shout out to the entrepreneurs of the world, because we can have control over our time. And everybody doesn't have that, and I get that. But when you have a vision, when you are honing your vision and you are focused on it, sometimes the other stuff has to fall away. It has to fall away. I stopped taking consulting projects. I push everything aside. I moved from my small office in my home, and I cleared my dining room table, cleared it off. And I said, this is where I'm going to write. I made myself a schedule. I said, I'm going to write for this amount of time every day. And I had like 50,000 words that they gave me for this book. I got real strategic. I said, if I have to do 50,000 words, these are how many words I have to do every week, every day. And I got disciplined. And I said, this is how I have to get it done. This is how I have to get it done. Wow. So it took me, I signed the deal like in July, and I had to have that first draft done by January. And it was no joke to get it done. Wow. There were times when I was like, it was crazy, but I got it done.
Yeah, you got it done. I mean, and I think that some people might call in and ask some questions about that. We've got a caller now. So we're going to go to Kim so we can get her in before the break. Kim, are you there with us?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. How are you?
Good. We're good. We're glad that you called in. We got issues. We got issues. You got a comment for us?
Oh, honey, we got issues. Everybody has issues.
What's your comment or your question today?
Let me think. Well, I kind of, because pivot is a really strong word for me. I understand what it is, but I think my question is if you could maybe define it for me a little bit, and then I know I'll come up with a much stronger question.
That's good, Kim. That's good. I think that's a great question right there. Amy, in your words, would you define pivot for Kim?
Okay, that's fine. All right. Well, my mic is muted, so I just want to make sure. Can you hear me? Okay. To pivot means to take yourself from where you are right now and move into a new direction. Move into a different place. Okay? You're going to take yourself from where you are right now into a different space, discipline, platform, and direction. Now, you may have to stand still first and look for the signs as to which way you're going to pivot. The signs which will say go left, go right, or stand still for a minute. But you do have to be willing to change your direction in order to with that comes a lot of sacrifices, pretty much, right?
Well, yes, it does. And the most important sacrifice is the sacrifice of your mindset. Right.
Definitely. Your mindset. Yes, I'm a big believer in that. Like, I believe you are as strong as you let your mind believe that you are. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely.
For me, I always tell, like, I have a 12-year-old daughter, and I always tell her that my mind is my biggest enemy. So if I think something negative, then I'm going to stay that way. If I think strong, then I'm going to be strong. If that makes any sense.
That's right. That's right. What you focus on is where you're going to go.
Yeah.
What you focus on is where you're going to go.
12-year-old, it's a 12-year-old, that is really powerful because they're in that really hard stage where they're about to be a teenager and there's so much going on that,
that's right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they kind of, for me to tell her that, you know, you got hormones, you got schools, and you got this crazy pandemic that's going on. So, hopefully, she's going to take the strong route. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But for me, I want to be successful. So the only way I'm going to be successful is I got to think powerful and that I'm strong. I'm assuming that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Kim, you brought the issues up. That's awesome. You brought the issues up.
I have many issues, but we're going to stick to the positive part of it.
Well, I'm so glad you called in. We're so glad that you called in. We got issues. We love our callers because you always give us a different take on the conversation.
Kim, we're going to have to pause for a second because we're getting...
Before we go to the break, I want to tell you and everyone that's listening in the 3 signs that let you know if you need to pivot. Number 1, you're low on energy or you're bored. You're apathetic or you're jealous. Those are 3 reasons. We'll come back and talk a little bit more about that. But we thank you so much for calling in, Kim. And we're going to come back to We Got Issues. And we're going to be talking about Pivot for Success by Amy Hilliard. Hone your vision, shift your energy, and make your dang gone move. Make your move, because we have to make a pivot.
Yes.
We'll be right back at you. Just a few more minutes.
Oh my goodness, Facebook family, thank you for being here with us. Oh, this is a great show. I mean, highly motivated. You should be highly motivated to pivot. We're so glad to have the Amy Hilliard here, the author of Pivot. You guys, I mean, really, being bold, settling down, being disciplined. We know you got a book inside.
I can't hear you, Sabrina.
You're not supposed to. Okay. And so it's important that we make sure that
I can't hear you, Sabrina. I don't know if you're trying to tell me something.
No, Amy. No. It's okay. All right. So I'm sorry, you guys. Amy thinks I'm talking to her and I'm talking to you. Somebody has to tell her that. And so, no. And so what we want you to do, Facebook family, is decide today how you want to move forward. I mean, don't you love her blog, Sizzling at 60? That is exciting. This is so good, you guys. Encourage your girlfriend to pivot. Encourage your girlfriend to step out of her comfort zone. I'm telling you what, Gloria said, everybody has a book inside of them. Decide to go write your book. Somebody needs to hear your story, but you got to sit there, you write it. And even before you have a book deal, start writing your book. And then perhaps you'll be self-published for that first one. Or, hey, you might get a book deal, but sit down and write. I believe you got something to say. I love when Amy talked about, there's a sacrifice, but most importantly, it's a sacrifice of mindset. What are you thinking? What are you thinking? You got to train the brain. Train the brain, you guys. I am excited that we have the most incredible Amy Hilliard with us today. Did you guys hear her say that former First Lady, our forever First Lady, Michelle Obama, has given her an endorsement for life on whatever she writes? That's super bad all day long right there. And so we just want to encourage you to pivot, to step outside of your comfort zone, to go for what you know, to move, to stretch your stuff, to go get what you deserve to have. This is Fabulous Friday. This is Finish It Friday. This is Go Get What You Deserve to Have Friday. That's what we're talking about. So you guys type in the chat how you're going to pivot today. It starts with taking a step today. All right, this is exciting. Okay, we're going back to the show. All right.
All right, we are back. It's Friday. It is Friday. And you're back with the Force of Friendship on 910 AM, the Superstation WFDF out of Detroit. We're so glad that you tuned in with us. We love having these conversations every day, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. as our tribe grows. Why is the tribe growing? We're growing because you love the conversation. We're growing because you love the information. We're growing because you're passing the word about what we're doing and what we're talking about, bringing you hot and different topics every day that you can use for your life right now. Positive, but not Pollyanna. We're excited to be with you. Again, I'm going to go over those 3 reasons. Kim is still holding on. I just want to talk about this a little bit because today, honestly, you guys, have you ever had one of those days? I text one of my girlfriends. I said, I'm having one of those days. She said, I don't know if you had one of those days, but I'm having one of those days. You don't know why you're feeling that way. You just don't know. But some people can kick you back into existence. And to me, that was a pivot for me. Even coming on the show, when I get to give energy, I gain energy. So one of the signs that you need to pivot in your life is you're low on energy and bored. You started and ended your day with barely a drizzle of energy. You feel bored every moment of the day. If you feel like that often, it's time to act. You're apathetic. You no longer care about your work, your home, your family, or really anything pertaining to your existence. Note, apathy is different from depression. Apathy is different from depression. You're jealous. The lives of others seem intriguing, fun, and happy, and you find yourself being jealous of them. It's time to make a pivot. Listen to this, you guys. Millions of workers plan to switch jobs in pursuit of a work-life balance, growth opportunities, remote options, and being treated with respect. How often do we hear about people dealing with a lack of respect? Some 48 Americans are rethinking the type of job they want post-pandemic. According to the research, 53% say they'll switch to an entirely new industry if they could. So, Amy, your book is like perfect timing. Yes, Kim, go ahead. Go ahead, Kim.
I kind of like, gosh, like, it's interesting how people can just feel like their life is so hard. Because I work with people with disabilities on my regular job, and that's a very, very hard place to be because, you know, they not only do they have disabilities, so they feel like, honestly, they literally lose a lot of rights. They think they do. They don't have a lot of responsibilities that we do as regular people, like bills and maybe our kids or, I don't know, car payment, a house payment, stuff like that. They don't have to worry about that too much because they always have someone to help them, or maybe they're in a group home or whatever it is that they may be, you know, challenged with. But I'm challenged with thinking, gosh, I don't understand why I can feel compassion. Honestly, I can. But some of them, I'm like, my gosh, what is so wrong with your life? Like today is one of my clients' birthday. So I gave her a gift, and she was like, gosh, my mom's not going to, she said she might come visit me, but she's not going to give me anything. And so, well, that's kind of sad, you know? And she said, I have a daughter who's 23 years old, but she said she wants nothing to do with me just because I drink a lot of coffee. Well, that's just ridiculous to me. So what do? I can't help it. I have a really big heart. So I go and buy her a nice gift, you know, with some bracelets and obviously our jewelry and some different things that she likes to do. And we go out to eat at a restaurant. I have them sing to her, give her a piece of cake or whatever it is I need to do. Bought her a princess, you know, happy birthday crown. So everybody knew wherever we went that it was her birthday.
Right.
And she felt special. So all of a sudden, the intention was, well, someone really cares. Not my daughter's not going to come see me, and my mom's not going to come see me. I have no.
Let me ask you a question. When you think about how they're reacting, since we're talking about pivoting, we have another caller that we want to get to really quickly. But when you think about how you're going to pivot instead of how they're going to pivot, what do you think about how you're going to pivot? Just really quickly, so I can take them to the next caller.
Well, I don't know exactly. I feel good because that person had a smile on their face. They felt good. I feel good when someone else feels good. And so it's going to make me want to be stronger and say, well, maybe that's what I need to do. Now, I'm going to do whatever it takes to make someone else smile and feel happy. And then I'm going to work towards making myself happy and being more successful because that's what will put a smile on my face.
Okay. Well, let's go to the next piece that we're going to go to. So, Kim, thank you so much for calling in. Do We Got Issues? We really appreciate that.
Some of the chapters in your book that people have been responding to the most that you really love to talk about. Would you pick one of those and talk about that one piece?
Well, you know, as we are talking about what Kim is going through, and I think what all of us go through when we're in that zone of this is not a great day. Pivot point number 7 is what a lot of people talk about, and that is called seeking positivity. Because when you're in that day when things aren't going your way, and the power of your mind to think about something that will switch your energy, because it's shifting that energy. So seek positivity. Put your mind on something positive, because if you can use the muscle of your mind, understand that the brain is a muscle. And as you remember how you feel when you're in the gym and you are working that muscle and it's getting stronger so you can do more things, work the muscle of your mind to seek positivity. And Susan Taylor, the editor-in-chief emerita of Essence Magazine, has become a very close friend of mine. I met her when I was in college at Howard University, and she used to have a bald head and all this fabulous jewelry, and she was interviewing young women to be in the magazine. And I was a sophomore, and I thought I looked pretty fly, so I thought she was definitely going to pick me, right? She didn't pick me. So I thought, okay, fly girl, go back to the drawing board. But she was so gracious. She was so lovely. And then when I got into corporate America, we started doing business because I was at Gillette and we were doing ads, and I gave ads to Essence and we became friends. But she told me something, that this is what seeking positivity means. She said, everybody cannot have a front row seat in your life. Think about that. So people who aren't giving you positive vibes when you're trying to crawl out of a space that's not positive for your day or for the moment in your life, that means that you have to make the decision with your mind that the people who aren't being positive for you, you can't give them that front row space. You have to move them into a space where you're polite, you're, loving, but they are not going to take the front row space of your mind because they can't. And so that one, pivot number 7, people talk about that all the time because they say, well, what about if it's your spouse, if it's your child, if it's your family member? You've got to be able to learn how to manage that and keep your most positive or your most important projects, goals, objectives to that positive circle in your life, and not the people who aren't bringing positivity, because that is your energy that you are managing, and you must manage your energy.
Yes. Yeah. Caterina had a question. That's excellent, because when people are looking for the positivity, because sometimes you get stuck, all of us got a lot going on. All of us got a lot going on, and all of us get overwhelmed at times. And the funny thing about that is if you start talking what you want, it starts to come to you. Because I easily say, I'm overwhelmed. I got too much going on. I got, and so when I catch myself saying those words, I have to catch myself, or cause myself, I should say, not catch myself, but I have to cause myself to say something differently. So I will think something differently. So I will feel something differently. Caterina?
Absolutely, Gloria. Absolutely.
I'm so excited to read the book and learn more. And you kind of answered my initial question. So I'm going to go from there, because I was thinking when you spoke about point number 7 about speaking positivity, I was wondering, how do you take that from just something you do to where it's really in you, where it's a habit that you practice? And that's kind of what you were talking about. I noticed how you, in the book, you talk about the story of struggle, sustainability, and resilience. So just, can you talk more about how, and knowing so much about your parents and how you were raised, it just seems like that resiliency is in the Hilliard sisters. But how do you become resilient if it's just not naturally in you? How do you work on building your resiliency?
That's a good question.
That's a good one.
Where does that come from?
That's a good one. Well, this is the thing I tell people. You have resilience. Everybody has gone through something that they have overcome. But sometimes you forget that you've overcome stuff. Resiliency is like riding a bike. That muscle memory of resiliency is in everybody. And I try to say, think about something you have done that you've overcome back in your life, okay? And it might have been back when you were trying to ride a bicycle and learn how to ride a bicycle, and you fell off and you got back on. It's about getting up and keeping going. It's about pivot point number 9. Maintaining perseverance. We'll talk about these going forward, but it's about having bounce back ability, where you can fall down, and just not how many times, you all have talked about this before. It's not how many times you fall down. It's about how many times you get up. And you've got to think about getting back up no matter what, because resiliency is a muscle that can be strengthened. But you've got to remember that you've done it before. It's not something that you have to say, okay, even if your business fails, or if you've gotten, look at me, okay, look at me. You think, I love my yellow hat. I think it's pretty snazzy. I've had some great things happen in my life. Gloria read my bio. It sounds pretty good. But I've also been, yes, I've been a serial entrepreneur, award-winning, successful corporate executive, but I've also been laid off, foreclosed on, bankrupted, and divorced twice.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying to all of you who are thinking about how do you build resilience, and yes, I've had great parents, but those things I had to overcome. Okay.
Right.
It's the mindset of what are you going to do next? Now you can make a choice. You can sit there and wallow in it, or you can decide, look, I'm still healthy. I'm still got all my fingers and toes. So what am I going to do? If I have to go work at Walmart or McDonald's or anywhere, I've got 2 kids that I've got to take care of. And that's what I'm going to do. We've got to get rid of feeling that it's okay to have pity parties that extend a long time. You cannot have long-term pity parties. It's a waste of time and it's a waste of your energy.
Yeah.
You know,
Amy,
one of the things. Oh, go ahead, Sabrina. Go ahead.
Okay, Amy, talk about your blog. I mean, oh my goodness. What I've always admired about you, that every stage and age in life, it's going to be a party. You are going to celebrate self and you're going to celebrate everybody in your circle. And so talk about the mindset that life is not over. Don't ever count yourself out. Continue to keep counting. Talk about that.
Well, my dears, yes. I turned 69 last month. Okay.
Amazing.
And
you look incredible. Yes. Incredible.
Thank you. 69, 65, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I hope. Yeah. It's like, okay. But I came up with a blog called Sizzling After 60. And I came up with it while my mom was still with us because she would come to visit. And my mom was 94 when she left us. But she wore high heels till she was what, Gloria, like 92? Yep. You know, she wore her high heels. And I said, you know what? I'm going to kick up my high heels as long as I can because my mama did it. And I said, sizzling after 60 is what I want to be able to do. I want my daughter to be able to see. I want other women, especially African-American women, to know that if you take care of your health, if you take care of your stress, if you are cognizant of how important it is to take care of your health first and your stress, because stress can kill you, you can sizzle and do so many things in your years to come. And it ain't over till it's over. Age is nothing but a number, but you have to make the decision that that's something that you will focus on. Because, you know, everybody says black doesn't crack. It may not crack on the outside, but inside it can turn into a mess if you let it. And so I am very serious about meditation, prayer, things that can calm you down, you know, exercise, things that really self-care is not an option. It is a necessity. And that doesn't mean you got to go to the spa every day or every week and spend $100 on a massage. Everybody doesn't have that opportunity, but you can get down on the floor and stretch. You can do things that that are good for your spirit. And so Sizzling After 60 talks a lot about that. And I'm going to get back to it now that I finished my book. I can, but there's still articles on sizzlingafter60.com that you can look up. But I got to tell you, Sabrina, thank you for bringing that up, because girlfriend, I'm going to be, and I titled it Sizzling After 60 because I can use that till I'm 90. And, you know.
That's right. That's right.
And for people who are on their way to 60 can do it too. So they make sure they're sizzling. We have a caller.
That's right.
Aisha, we have a caller. So I'm excited. Aisha, are you there? Did I say your name correctly? We're glad that you called in. We got issues. We got issues.
We're sizzling. Okay, listen. And before 60. Yeah. Now, you know what? I just tuned you on. And heard that Sizzling After 60. And I said, Lord have mercy. Now, I will be 77 on December 30th. Wow, exactly what you mean. And and you know, and so much more you appreciate spiritually. You just understand more. It's just, the wisdom is good. It feels good. And I want to know about your where is that? Where's your website? Sizzling After 60. I want to read it. I want to see it. Where is it? How do I get to it? Is it on Facebook, or where is it? It's sizzlingafter60.com, and you can find it there. I'm going to be looking for it. I sure am when I hang up from you. And thank you for that, because you know that's always, our sisters really need to know. They don't have to start shaving it for Jesus just because they get over the outside or whatever. You know what I mean? Right. He's the same. It's only the plans that change. So listen, I'm going to go and you all stay well. Oh, I'm so ready to go in and brought your flavor. So we got issues. You got the flavor issue. We really appreciate that. Really appreciate it. All right, then we'll take care, all of you. All right. Thank you. Thank you. You know, I love it. All right. When we were talking about resilience, I love what
that people have a capacity. They'll understand the capacity which they have. You know, when the family gets together and there's network that's needed to happen, we all look at Amy. Because if you go to Amy's office and you go to Amy's home, she has a picture with everybody that you think you might want to have a relationship with, somebody you think you might want to get to know. She knows how to get across the room and meet people. She knows how to ignite with people. So Amy, I want to talk to you a little bit about this. One of the things they talked about when you pivot is don't burn bridges. Some people burn bridges, and as you've moved from here to there to here to there, and you've done the things that you've done, how have you sustained those relationships? Because you never know when you need those relationships again. And how have you done it with never burning bridges?
That is really important. I believe that people come into your life for a reason, but they come into your life to have an impact. And if they come into your life, they are meant to be there. And so why burn a bridge to has made a bridge for you in some way, shape, or form for a time or for just a longer period of time. And so I feel like if you're burning a bridge, you are burning something down that may need to still stay up for a later period in time. You know, you never know. And so I never burn a bridge. You know, we talked today about ghosting. You know, I really don't like it when people ghost me, and I hate to ghost people. If somebody reaches out for something, even if I can't do it, I will reply, because I think that it's right. Rude not to reply to people. I know, right. and I just think nobody is so busy they can't say sorry, but I can't do it. Okay, and I think that leaves a positive impression with people, and that positive impression can go a very long way, years down. And so when I meet people, even if it's years down the road that we reconnect, they will remember that, you know, you made the connection and kept the connection. It's about that positivity, and, you know, hey, treat them as such. And even if it's who didn't treat you well, you know, you never know how things in life will change. Just never know where you're going to be and where they're going to be. So don't make an assumption about anything. And that keeps your network flowing.
Okay, so I want to ask you about this. Oh, go ahead, Sabrina. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Gloria. Go ahead. Go ahead. You get your sister all the time. Let somebody else ask some questions, okay? You talk to your sister all the time.
Go ahead, Messy. Go ahead, Messy. Definitely not classy, but go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hey, Amy. You talk about, I don't think anybody tries to burn a bridge. I mean, they just don't know how to get in and out of situations. In your life, I've seen you work a room. I've seen you go in and out of different circles. That is a skill set. That is working with intentionality. Can you talk a little bit about, as people pivot, the people skills, the power of persuasion? This is what I think many of us want. And so what would be some basic tips to get better in that area?
Well, this is something that my parents were very good at, both my mother and my father. My father made it a point to treat everyone like a king and a queen, whether they were pushing the broom or whether they were at the head of the room. He always had a smile for someone. He looked people directly in the eye, and he made sure that he made them feel important. And my mother did the same thing. She always made people feel important. And I try to do the same thing when I meet people. And I think that it's something that everybody is important, you know, because everybody has a gift. Everybody has a unique fingerprint that they have and only they have. And so when I'm meeting people, I recognize that and I look at them with that in mind. And so I don't know what their gift is, but I say, you know, how are you? And, you know, glad to meet you sincerely, because I am sincere about it. And that sincerity is what I think people will always be able to pick up, because they can pick up sincerity and they can pick up insincerity like a radar. People can pick that stuff up. They can pick it up. And so if you have a sincere feeling that people are important, that's a skill that you can just develop. But if you're always there with, you know, the WIFM, what's in it for me, people pick that up too.
That's right.
And
We pick up what they're putting down. People don't know, think you don't know, or don't feel it, but you pick it up. You really do. You can pick up on people.
You pick it up.
Yeah.
You can pick up that vibe, Sabrina. You know that because we see it in rooms all the time, you know, and it's so funny. I'll tell you this real quick story. When I was at Harvard Business School, I went to when I got there, they have these networking stuff for students, right? And so they had this big networking beer party, right? And so I was standing next to a guy from Saudi Arabia, and his name was Ghazi. And so because we're both full color. And so, you know, the guys were coming around with the beers, and they're like, you know, from Amherst and from, you know, the rich guys and whatnot. And so they came over to us and they were like, well, where are you from? And I said, I'm from Detroit. And they were like, okay, fine. And then they went to Ghazi and they said, well, where are you from? He said, I'm from Saudi Arabia. And they're like, Saudi Arabia? Oh, your father must be in oil. And he goes, no, my father's just a professor at the university. And they said, oh, okay, well, have a nice day. And they left us. And so Ghazi turned to me and he said, Amy, I just want you to know, my father's not a professor at the university. He's definitely in oil. But I didn't want them to know. I didn't want them to know at all. But I thought you could understand why I didn't want them to know. But he's definitely in oil. Now, what's the story there in terms of networking? He felt my authentic vibe, Ghazi did. He did not feel their vibe of mercenary.
That's right.
Means.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
You know? Mm-hmm. And so I've never forgotten that interaction, you know, never. And I graduated from that school 50 years ago. So, you know, you got to understand, and that's international. You know, I had just met this young man from Saudi Arabia, and he picked up the guy. So the thing about it, networking and being authentic is global. People are people. And so when you're walking into a room, and believe me, sometimes when you're networking, you do have an objective. Like you're trying to meet certain people to, you know, promote your business, promote your book, etc. And that's okay. But you don't want to walk into a room and say, "Hi, I'm Amy Hilliard, and I want to network with you."
Right.
No.
Right. Yeah.
You know, you have to do it with a sense of I'm trying to meet you. This is what I have to offer, but I also am open to helping you as well.
Let's talk about this for a second. Let's talk about the fact that you're getting ready to teach at the university level again.
Yes.
And very excited. Tell us a little bit about that and why you're so excited to use your skills that you've gained, because, you know, all of it, I read this the other day, which was, wait, let me get to this because it was like really super good. And of course I can't find, it says good decisions come from experience. Experience comes from bad decisions. Experiences come from bad decisions. So all of us, you know, that are listening on We Got Issues have had good decisions and bad decisions, good networking, bad networking. We've made people feel bad. We've made people feel good. But you take all those experiences and now you're taking it into the classroom, Amy. So tell them a little bit about you going into the classroom and what you're going to be training in the classroom.
Well, thank you, Gloria. Yes, I am so excited to be going to the University of Chicago, the Booth School of Business, which is the #3 business school in America. And they wanted me to teach. They actually wanted me to teach marketing. And I've taught marketing before at Loyola School of Business. And so when they asked me, I said, well, you have a lot of people teaching marketing already. And I was wondering, I said, can I explore a different proposal with you? I said, I don't see a lot of people teaching about pivoting. I just wrote this book, Pivot for Success, and I think it might be beneficial to your students, given everything that's going on in the world today, if they study how to pivot and study corporations that pivoted successfully, those that didn't, but also importantly, personally, that they learn how to have the mindset of pivoting, because you need to know personally how to pivot and professionally how to pivot. And I wrote them a proposal and they accepted it. So my new course is going to be called Pivot for Success, Hone the Vision, Shift the Strategy, and Make the Right Moves for. And I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. It's
yeah. And it was something that, I didn't know if they were going to accept it or not, but the students are registering for the class, which is good. And I feel excited about that. We have a big book event coming up with the bookstore there. And so, it's just a situation where I go where I'm guided. And, and when you think you have an idea, this is what I tell people all the time. If you feel something in your spirit and you've been proposed, if someone's asked you to do something, but you feel that you still have something different to offer, position it as an exploratory thing. Don't say, well, that's not what I had in mind. Let me try what I think we should do. It's how you position it, be it networking or be it, when you're trying to propose something that you think might be official. It's not about you. It's about who you're trying to serve. And I just positioned it that way, and they were open to it. So, I learned about that a long time ago, exploring things with people, I was getting ready to be thrown out of Jewel with my comfort cake company because, people weren't buying big cakes. They were only interested in small slices because people at that time, they were, the carb craze was going on where people were cutting carbs and they were comfort cake was going to be delisted. And I'm like, with the buyer, can I have an exploratory interview with you to a meeting to find out what you really need? And so before you throw us out, he said, well, Amy, what we really need are slices. And so that's what we made for them. So when you explore things with people, sometimes you can move things ahead versus being thrown out, or, you can get more of what you want. And that's how we got to teach that. I'm teaching that course at Booth.
That's excellent. That's excellent. Okay. So this is what I want to hear about. I want to hear about patience. Chapter 6, pivot. And it talks about you have to have patience. That is not my wheelhouse by any stretch of the imagination. But I do know that if you're going to pivot, that you're going to have to do. So tell us a little bit about that chapter. Chapter 6 talks about, having patience. And it's tough. For me, it's tough. I don't know about my girlfriends, but for me, it's tough to have patience. When you know that you want to do stuff and you see something and you want it keeps me up at night.
Well, let me just tell you that having patience was one of the hardest chapters to write, because I am not a patient person either. No, I want things right now. We all like instant gratification. This is a microwave society. We put things in the microwave, cook it, and it's done. So that's what we are thinking about all the time. And, that's what I liked. But I have learned through my research that having patience can be very powerful. Having patience is like when you sit back and you go to a play, you have that intermission between Act 1 and Act 2. When they change the set, they rearrange the furniture, and then you go on from Act 1 to Act 2.
Right.
Now, if they do not have that intermission and they go just from Act 1 to Act 2, in some situations that will not work because you don't have time to rearrange the situation. But if you allow the situation to be rearranged, that can be very powerful. Now, when you're working with teams of people, and they want to move right away. When you tell people like, let's just hold up a minute, because if we move right away, what might we miss? Let's look at the scenery. Let's look at the situation. Where is this going? It gives you a chance to really, lay out what the situation is entailing, and then you can make your best move. Patience is something that you can learn from, because if you rush to situations too fast, you can miss the guidepost. So anytime that you feel that you've got to rush into something, it may not be the best thing for you. Anything can happen when you can step back a beat and just wait a minute before you rush into a decision. And sometimes when you do that, you can let people know that you are not going to be played with. Because sometimes when you rush to a decision too quickly, people think, I got this person. I can get anything I want from this person. When people know that you're willing to walk away, they will take you more seriously. When you have the patience to know I'm gonna walk away, people say, well, wait a minute now, this is a serious person. So the concept of patience is highly underrated. Highly underrated. You need to know that sometimes you step back and say, let me assess this situation a little bit more. And that's when the power of patience can kick in.
You talked about that it unlocks the doors to your dreams. It unlocks the doors to your dreams. And, we're big dreamers over here for sure. The Force of Friendship,
Yep.
Big dreamers. So when you say it unlocks the doors to your dreams, I will tell you, sometimes when you've achieved, sometimes you lose sight of your ability to dream because you get so caught up in the doing. And when you get caught up in the doing, you don't dream. And if you don't dream, you don't even see where you could possibly pivot. So what did you mean by that when you said it can unlock the door to your dreams?
Well, when you're constantly doing, it takes you away from dreaming, as you just pointed out. And that is really when you look back at pivot point number 2, believing in possibilities. If you're always doing, it's hard for you to step back and say, ooh, what are the possibilities? Because you're too busy doing. And when you step back and say, what's the possibilities? That's where, again, this is what I love about the 10 pivot points. Not only are they universal, they intermingle. Because when you have patience, it can intermingle with possibilities. Because then you're sitting back, you're stepping back, and you have time for your mind to download into what else is possible, because you're patiently assessing the situation. And then your mind has room for the possibilities to come to fore, and you can dream bigger. You can dream bigger when your mind is not always doing. You've got to give your mind space to dream. And that's what patience can do.
Amy, I'm telling you, your outfit even matches the book. Okay, Pivot for Success, you guys. You're going to see it on Amazon. You're going to soon see it in your airports. I'm absolutely sure. We're going to turn this book on its dime. Pivot for Success by Amy S. Hilliard. Hone your vision, shift your energy, make your move. You were listening to 9:10 a.m. the Superstation, and we got issues. We're here with the Force of Friendship. We welcome you into the tribe. And yes, of course, Amy's going to be hanging with us when we all get out of this pandemic and we all get around. She's going to be right there in the tribe with us. And so we're so glad. We cannot wait to tune in with you this coming Monday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You guys, you never know. You got to lean in. You never know what we'll be talking to you. So thank you so much for being here. Happy Friday, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thanks, Amy. Really good. Thank you.